First, you deny he ever said it. Then when I prove he said it, you say, oh, he was joking. Then when I show that actually it wasn't a joke, you're going to say, oh, what about the Democrats that did this other thing? That's how it always goes.
Okay. You say I downplay with the things that Trump's done
Yes.
on the Trump side. Trump has been politically persecuted for years. Republicans have been.
I just said he's going to say, what about the Democrats now? See, who on the left has put people in cuffs for political speech in the modern era?
Specifically in cuffs.
Yes.
I mean,
Detained someone.
I don't know. That's kind of a weird framing of the question.
It's really not. People being detained for saying things, I think, is pretty bad, and it's not the same as the Biden administration texting Twitter like, hey, can you guys remove this ivermectin disinformation thing? And then Twitter's like, I don't think we're going to do that. And then Biden's like, oh, damn, okay. I don't think those can be compared. You notice how much margin of charitability you give to everything that the right does, but then when a left-winger says, hey, I'm a socialist, I want higher taxes on billionaires, you're like, the neo-Marxists have arrived.
That's, dude, so unbelievably reductive.
I agree.
No
I totally agree. You have an extremely reductive view here. He literally summoned all the top generals today and gave a speech where I can play excerpts of the speech for you, where he talks about we need to start focusing not on other countries. We have to focus on the enemy from within. We have to focus on the Democrats. We have to start doing military training exercises in blue cities.
I mean, yeah, he's appealing to his base. You realize a lot of his base, a lot of us feel like there's a neo-Marxist movement on the left that is getting only stronger and stronger.
You feel like that because your entire media and political apparatus is selling you that narrative as a pretext to do neo-fascism.
It's not the media that's selling it. It comes out of the individual's mouths.
Which Democratic politician is a neo-Marxist?
AOC, fucking
She's
Mamdani,
a neo-Marxist because
Bernie
she wants
Sanders.
like a higher corporate tax rate.
She wants a nationalization of it. What do you mean a higher corporate tax rate? She's literally called
neo-Marxist?
For. Absolutely, it is. I mean, not the corporate tax rate.
Trump nationalizing 10% of Intel is just. What is that?
Is Mamdani a Marxist or not? What do you think?
Mamdani is a democratic socialist.
Okay.
His actual policy platform is more so like a social democrat.
That's golden. He's a social democrat. Yeah. I mean, they're all the same shit. Like I know they have to rebrand themselves because they all believe in the same failed ideas.
Do you understand how unhinged it is to respond to Trump saying that he wants to declare war on blue cities and have like a million excuses for that? But then if a Democrat wants to raise taxes, all of a sudden they're a neo-Marxist.
First of all, I obviously don't think he's an authoritarian. But second of all, like I don't see any of his.
Can you say that? Hold on. When you have the FCC chair like threatening ABC and Disney because of the Jimmy Kimmel comments, what would you call that?
Is Jimmy Kimmel on air or no?
He's back on air now, but can you address what I just said?
Yeah, I mean Trump.
When he says on video that we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and if they don't want to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, there's going to be work for the FCC ahead. Do you just not want to grapple with that?
No, we can grapple with it.
Is that not authoritarian?
No, I don't think sharing your opinion on things is authoritarian.
It's not sharing your opinion when you're the head of the FCC saying we're going to leverage our government power to punish companies for speech we don't like.
I mean, if anything, it gives them an easy rebuttal to fight off the FCC. I don't care about the FCC head, but I don't think that makes you an authoritarian. It's not like he's trying to control the media like a certain left-wing politicians in recent times.
Which left-wing politicians in recent times have done anything on the level of Trump's?
On the level, it's way past the level. You haven't
the
seen
suggestions that were made to social media companies that were rejected.
It wasn't suggestions. It wasn't suggestions. It was strong arming to get rid of political opponents on social media, which they did with Trump.
Hold on.
And to cancel.
When you talk about things
citizens.
like the Twitter files and Meta and Google and the narrative now that the Biden administration was like pinning them up against the wall and saying you better delete this. Just so we are clear, many of the requests that were sent were rejected.
I don't know. That's not what they said, but sure.
That's in Meta's own internal reporting that they released. And just by the way, when Zuckerberg now goes on Joe Rogan and says, oh, Biden administration was pressuring me, he's just saying that to appease Trump. And don't take my word for it. When Facebook got rid of their fact checking and said, we want a free speech environment, Trump was asked by reporters, is Zuckerberg doing this because you threatened to put him in jail? And Trump said, yeah, I think that's why he's doing it. It's a good thing.
Then explain to me why right-wingers get deplatformed off YouTube and off Facebook.
I'm not addressing anything I'm saying.
I am addressing it. You're saying that they ignored a lot of the... Yeah, you said that they ignored a lot of the directions that...
the Zuckerberg thing I just said.
Sorry, which specific part?
Mark Zuckerberg last summer got rid of Facebook fact checking and did this kind of like right wing thing where he was like, oh, Facebook's going to not censor people anymore. We're going to go back to our free speech roots. And then Trump was like, oh, I love this. Great development. And then reporters asked Trump, is Zuckerberg doing this because at one time you threatened him with jail? And Trump said, yeah, I think that's why he's doing it.
I mean, it was like, what's the context? He tends to joke like that a lot.
The context is that Trump said Zuckerberg should be in jail for what he did because Trump was super ass mad about getting banned off social media after January 6th.
I mean, but the social media he got banned off of was Twitter. Like, it didn't have to do with.
No, I'm pretty sure Instagram as well.
Oh, maybe Instagram, but the big one was Twitter. Like, I mean, the dude was like addicted to Twitter.
You're debating in such bad faith right now. It's actually
no,
crazy.
It's not bad faith. Yeah,
Trump. I'm sorry, because I know you're smarter than this, so that's why I'm not saying ignorance. I'm saying bad faith.
I could see Trump saying something like that for sure.
That's not authoritarian.
No, I like he jokes like that all the time. That's literally his MO. Like
it's so
like he does
insane.
that every day.
It's so insane that anytime Trump says something indefensible, it just happens to be a joke. Thankfully, luckily.
It's not even indefensible. Like what like are you saying that he's going to jail Zuckerberg? Like is that like?
I'm saying that when people in government threaten to use government power to attack you for doing things they don't like, that's an abuse of government power. And by the way, like. This is just one aspect. Courts literally just ruled that the Trump administration violated the First Amendment of pro-Palestinian protesters. Like a Reagan-appointed judge ruled this.
In regards to what, like a Columbia thing or something, or
like Mahmoud Khalil and others, and I can pull up the screenshot of this if you want me to actually read you part of the hearing.
Yeah, you can. Sure,
or the judge's decision, where they don't mince any words about what this is. They very, very clearly say. For all these reasons, this court finds as fact and concludes as matter of law that Secretaries Noem and Rubio and their several agents and subordinate acted in concert to misuse the sweeping powers of their respective offices to target non-citizen pro-Palestinians for deportation, primarily on account of their First Amendment protected political speech. They did so in order to strike fear into similarly situated non-citizen pro-Palestinian individuals, proactively and effectively curbing lawful pro-Palestinian speech and intentionally denying such individuals the freedom of speech that is their right. Moreover, the effect of these targeted deportation proceedings continues unconstitutionally to chill freedom of speech to this day. Was that a joke also? What's the excuse
for this? Was the Supreme Court? What court are we talking about? Just so we get.
It's a federal court.
Yeah, I mean, like it sounds like the court ruled correctly, and like I don't understand.
Was that authoritarian at least?
Him challenging free speech? Like
his administration cracking down on political speech with their power, with their governmental power? Was that at least authoritarian?
It depends on the speech. If it was incitement to violence, no, it wouldn't be authoritarian.
If it was incitement to violence, would the court have written that?
It depends on the case. It sounds like a very general.
So bad faith.
How is it bad faith?
I know you know better than this. Some other people I would say maybe you're just ignorant, but like there's no way you don't know what I'm saying, and you're like, he's joking. What case? What are you talking about? Like
there's some I know what you're saying. There's some things that Trump has done that for sure is like, oh, okay, that's like
language to downplay it and sane-wash it. Yeah.
It's not down.
I know the playbook, by the way. I know the playbook. First, you deny he ever said it. Then, when I show you that he said it, hold on.
I know you know the playbook.
First, you deny he ever said it. Then, when I prove he said it, you say, "Oh, he was joking." Then, when I show that actually it wasn't a joke, you're going to say, "Oh, what about the Democrats that did this other thing?" That's how it always goes. And then maybe in the end, you end up defending it and trying to downplay what he actually did. But there is never any sort of honest grappling with what he's doing. Every time Trump takes one step forward, the red line takes two.
Okay. You say I downplay the thing that Trump's done on the Trump side. Trump has been politically persecuted for years. Republicans have been.
I just said he's going to say, "What about the Democrats now?" See,
it's not. But I'm just saying, you want to say that like, oh, I have the standard for Trump. Yeah, I am defensive of Trump because I've worked for organizations and I personally myself have been deplatformed by the left multiple times. So I feel like, and many people on the right feel this way, that Trump is at least providing a buffer for us. In this fight,
you are onto something in the sense that the American right feels aggrieved and they want to seek vengeance on what they see as the left, who is their enemy.
Right. So are they going to?
But I'm telling you, that sense of aggrievement is manufactured by right-wing media and politicians, and they shovel it into the mouths of supporters and voters who don't know any better to take advantage of that.
No, I disagree. That sense on the right was caused directly by the left, who deplatformed people, who censored people, and you just want to downplay it.
Who's the left?
What do you mean, who's the left?
Because when I talk about right-wing authoritarianism, I will say Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi. You just say the left. So who are we talking about here? Which government officials have weaponized government power to pursue like left-wing cultural agendas and crack down on right-wingers?
Well, I mean, the Biden administration certainly has.
Okay, which government power did they abuse against the right?
They used their position to essentially, I don't know if you were familiar with like censorship, antitrust stuff like NewsGuard, and what was the other one that got taken down? It's been a minute now, but yeah, we there were multiple platforms. There were multiple what's it called? Agencies. That's the word.
Antitrust is bad?
Yeah, like we saw that antitrust issue with Ben Shapiro, the thing that he testified in, and how essentially
I'm going to need more
they would
details on
demonetize
this supposed like authoritarian overreach. Like, what are we talking about?
they would demonetize this. It happened to Elon as well when Elon took over Twitter. They would
Someone getting
demonetize.
demonetized on a social media platform to
It's
you
not
is akin
someone.
to like direct authoritarianism.
It's not someone. It's conservative media being censored at a mass scale.
By
It's not
private
someone.
companies, right?
What do you mean by because of pressure by a left-wing administration? Exactly.
Okay, great. So pressure by a left-wing administration. So all the requests that they rejected, in what way were they punished for that by the left-wing government?
I'm not saying there weren't any requests that were rejected. Thank God there was some.
Then there's no government compulsion.
What do you mean government compulsion? Like there was no
The government
threat from
saying,
the
"Hey, can you pretty please do this?" and then being told no is not censorship.
I mean, when you're ideologically aligned, when a channel like or when a platform like Twitter is ideologically aligned with the left, yeah, for sure, there's no censorship. If that happens on the right, you're going to be calling it out the same way. For example, if ABC
Twitter
was
is like an extremely right-wing platform now, so
at this time, but not when they were taking down conservatives.
and I don't see anyone. I mean, maybe I'm missing it. I'm not seeing anyone saying that like, oh, we need to like nationalize Twitter to give the left their voice back or whatever the fuck.
No, not. It wasn't calls for direct nationalization. No, I never said that.
I'm waiting for the Biden administration's authoritarianism that you would claim is worse than anything that Trump has done. I've yet to hear it.
I would point you to the Twitter files, the admissions by Meta.
We just
the
talked
admissions
about the
by
Twitter
Google.
files, and I just explained to you
Exactly.
it's not comparable.
Okay, I don't know.
They sent Twitter requests.
Weird.
Twitter said no. They said, oh, okay. Where's the authoritarianism in that?
I mean, Twitter said no to what? They deplatformed RFK. They deplatformed Trump, right? Like, did they say no to that?
Do you understand that authoritarianism would imply the government is leveraging their power to get private actors to capitulate in unconstitutional ways?
I understand that.
I'm pretty sure that they actually tried to take this to court, and the judges said, like, there's no standing here.
Yeah, because there was no proof to tie it to.
Whereas I just read you an excerpt from a Reagan-appointed judge saying the Trump administration is trying to chill political speech in an unconstitutional manner by leveraging government power to crack down on dissent, and that is somehow a meme or something or a joke.
No, it's not a meme. I might agree with. I think Trump has probably. It's very likely that he's overstepped in terms of free speech in some regard.
In an authoritarian fashion.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
I think it's a stretch because you opened the argument by taking taking the negative on this position that Trump's not an authoritarian. So now you're just never going to concede that point.
I mean, you would like Trump is an authoritarian. Like,
this guy's talking about waging war on blue cities, dude. Like, when are you people going to realize? I feel like a lot of you guys are going to realize when it's too late. When we have like National Guard at polling places, then you're going to be like, wait a second, maybe he was right.
I mean, I don't like. I think
before
that's
you
like
say that's fear mongering, there's an executive order his administration drafted to federalize the National Guard to go in and seize voting machines. So, is that also a joke?
You contend with this though, because there's an element of this, like when you scream that somebody's a fascist for years, even when he's not in office, and it's been like 6 years of this repetitive thing. Do you think that at some point it starts to feel like, okay, bro, what is it this week? This is kind of what we feel right now. It's like, oh, he's a fascist this week because he says something.
Right-wing media and social media has brainwashed like half of the country into giving Trump a free pass on everything and blowing out of proportion everything someone on the left does, to the point where you can come on here and unironically tell me Trump's not a right-wing authoritarian, but AOC and Mamdani are authoritarian neo-Marxists.
Yes, I think they want centralized state power. I don't think that Trump does. Exactly.
They just want like public housing and higher taxes, which they would want to pass through. They would want to pass that through like legislation and like legal channels, not through executive fiat.
They want the role of the state to perpetually increase. They want a massive state, and I see that as deeply authoritarian. All the authoritarians,
you would see like single payer healthcare as deeply authoritarian, for example.
I mean, it's definitely a feature in every authoritarian government that has existed in the last 200 years. Yeah,
it's also a feature in a lot of other developed countries that are not authoritarian.
Yeah, that's true. And there's several countries that
is having progressive economic policy that you pursue through legal means of Congress. Is that authoritarian in the same way as sending masked men to kidnap pro-Palestinian protesters on the grounds of political speech?
Nobody's kidnapping. First of all, no one's kidnapping anyone. Second, like
you don't know there's masked agents that are abducting people for political speech?
By the way, we already have the most progressive tax policy in like the world. Like I'm pretty sure we're up there with Australia. Like so, okay,
that's great. I don't want to derail this into a tax conversation. But my point is, we have spoken before.
We have like a while back. Passing progressive policy is not inherently authoritarian. There's a lot of places that have progressive policy.
Would you say that an aspect of authoritarianism is trying to bypass the law to enact major change that cracks down on civil liberties, for example?
Cracks down on civil liberty. Wait, bypass a law to enact rapid change that bypasses civil liberties.
Yes.
Like which liberties?
Like freedom of movement, due process, the right to call a lawyer when you're detained, for example, which is being denied to hundreds of people.
Is expedited removal part of due process?
Sure, yeah, but
If you
expedited
consider
removal
due
only
process.
applies to people that have been here for under 2 years or they were found by the border.
Yeah,
And
sure.
what the Trump
Is
administration is
administrative
doing,
removal?
what the Trump administration is
Hold on.
doing is they are showing up to standard removal proceedings, Section 240 proceedings, and they are getting the judges to drop those cases, to put those people into legal limbo, and then refusing to look at their paperwork and proof of residency, and then putting them in for expedited removal, even if they've been here for longer than 2 years.
Sure, it does, and it
Is
might
that
fall under
okay?
administrative removal. It might fall into Clinton's 1996 Act. There's a lot of legal methods to do this. It depends what you mean by
Well,
due
this is still
process. I
being
don't think
adjudicated. We don't know if what ICE is doing is legal, and I would err on the
sure,
side that it's probably
fair
not.
enough. Well, we'll see. Well, I mean, we'll see. So
Because
far,
you're aware, right, that we have standard removal and expedited removal, right?
sure, yeah, we have administrative removal.
And,
We have
and
different.
what would you call it when the government in bad faith ambushes people showing up to their standard removal proceedings by having their case dropped with no warning and then jumping out of the stairwell to grab them and cuff them and then have them removed through
I
expedited
assume
removal?
you're referencing a specific case, like.
No, there's dozens, hundreds of cases of this. This is an ICE strategy is to go to immigration court now. It's happening all over the country. They literally wait in the stairwell at immigration court and they wait for asylum seekers. And sometimes not even asylum seekers. It might be they're seeking convention against torture. They might be here for like over 10 years and have a spouse who has a green card or is a citizen and they're in good standing. I mean, these people deserve the due process of having an immigration judge look at their case.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends on the case. Like what we saw under the Biden administration was
You
asylum
notice
being.
how much margin of charitability you give to everything that the right does, but then when a left winger says, "Hey, I'm a socialist. I want higher taxes on billionaires," you're like, "The neo-Marxists have arrived."
That's dude, that's so unbelievably reductive.
I
There's just
agree.
no way.
I totally agree. You have an extremely reductive view here,
Um,
which seems to be working backwards from the left is bad and Trump's on my side.
the left is bad and Trump is on my side. Yeah, I mean, I generally feel like as someone who grew up, I don't know, I'm from Florida, so things were pretty moderate when I was there. I generally feel that the left has just completely lost the plot on every issue.
More than
Like,
the
I don't
right?
know. Yes, absolutely.
Just there's so much like, okay, who on the left has a cryptocurrency that buys you White House dinners? We can go
A
through
crypto.
piece by piece here. There's
Actually,
no
I do think we should
equivalency.
legislate. I don't think. Yeah, I agree that politicians shouldn't. It's funny because not many people on the left bring that up, but I'm glad you did. Like, the cryptocurrency is one of the Trump coin is like one of the worst things in my eyes that Trump has done. Like for sure.
And you understand there's
But
no left equivalent for that, right?
I mean, you could argue that Pelosi thing is
No, that's not
and
the same
is
thing.
well,
I agree
what
that
is it?
congressional
It's an
members shouldn't
abuse.
be trading stocks. I agree on that, but that is not the same thing as the day before your inauguration launching a cryptocurrency and then the top 50 buyers, the top 50 holders get invited to the White House for a private dinner. Like, come on.
Yeah, for sure. It's using political power for I guess
In
personal
a way
gain
that the
and
left
stuff like
has
that.
not done in the
And
modern era. Do you at least acknowledge that?
um, the left has wielded political like when Obama sold a bunch of merch and
It's,
books and
you're,
whatever.
it's like
Like
you're working backwards from the
it,
conclusion that the right
it's
can't
not
be
working
worse than the
backwards.
left.
It is. It's not. It's not. I think the Trump coin was the most egregious for sure. I agree with you on that. But
I'm not
to say
asking
that
if you
the
think it's
left had
egregious. Are you going to do a false equivalency and say, oh, the left has also, though, gone farther, or the left is just as bad?
well, I'm just acknowledging that the left has done things to that ilk, like similar things to that ilk, and like I think it's
To
worth
that
bringing up.
degree?
No, I already said not to that degree.
So you would
Like
agree that in terms of saying, oh, when you say like the left has gone like too far, when it comes to just blatant financial corruption, would you agree that there's not really an equivalency between MAGA and the Democratic Party right now?
I would say with Trump, specifically with Trump, yeah, I think Trump has used his power and like specifically with the coin in a way that like we need to like something should be
That
legislated
is
there.
not parallel to anything on the left, right?
In terms of
In
scale, like
terms of
yeah,
that specific aspect of like blatant corruption.
in terms of scale, yes, I would say that.
Okay, great. When we talk about people being, again, I'm going to use the word kidnapped by masked men because Mahmoud Khalil was coming back to his apartment with his wife who was pregnant, and masked men, and some who weren't wearing masks to their credit, I guess, if you want to call it that, broke in and they cuffed him and dragged him away and didn't give his wife any information on where he was going to be, and he was kept in detention in what has now been ruled to be unconstitutional crackdown on his political speech. Who on the left has put people in cuffs for political speech in the modern era?
Specifically in cuffs.
Yes.
I mean,
Detained someone.
I don't know. That's kind of a weird framing of the question.
It's really not. People being detained for saying things, I think, is pretty bad, and it's not the same as the Biden administration texting Twitter like, hey, can you guys remove this ivermectin disinformation thing? And then Twitter's like, I don't think we're going to do that. And then Biden's like, oh, damn, okay. I don't think those can be compared.
What do you mean? I don't think we're gonna do that. the amount of you can't even say the media I work for, they started publishing things on their own website because they couldn't even post it on YouTube.
Was anyone arrested because of left-wing supposed crackdowns on free speech?
People were unalived, but not arrested.
By the
But
government?
yeah, we have seen violence.
Who was unalived by the government?
Oh, not by the government, no.
Okay, well, we're
Didn't say
talking
by
about
the government.
authoritarianism, which is like government power.
Oh, okay, specifically government power.
So when we
No,
say
but
authoritarian crackdowns on free expression, do we agree there's no equivalency between Trump and the left?
I think the left has had less, like, more indirect ways of doing it, and I think the Trump does it very directly.
It's like you're so desperate to like not let the left
No,
like
it's
the
not-
left
it's not
has to be
desperate.
blamed somehow in some way. I can't
It's not that the
possibly
left
just
has to be
criticize
blamed.
Trump
It's
in a
very-
vacuum.
You're asking me a question. What the way I see it, and based on what I've researched or whatever, the left does it through indirect methods, and Trump does it very directly. Like Trump will
What's
say,
it? What is
I
the
think
it that the left is doing that Trump is also doing,
the
but one uses indirect?
authoritarian censorship.
Authoritarian
that you're talking
crackdown on
about.
political speech?
Yes, exactly.
What authoritarian crackdown on political speech has come from the left? And don't tell me that it was the
We've
Biden
already
administration
said it.
making a request to the
We've
government.
already said it. It's not. It's more than requests. It's, by the way, it's more than requests.
Were they fined or arrested for not complying?
Who?
Any
The
of these
government?
social media companies?
Were they fined or arrested?
Those are the two
No.
main things I can think of when I think of the government leveraging its power to compel speech. Would be we are either going to fine you or we're going to put you in cuffs. Did either of those things happen
No.
under Biden or Obama or Clinton?
It hasn't happened really under any.
Well, Brendan
administration.
Carr, the chair of the FCC, talked about levying fines on Disney if they didn't take Kimmel off the air. That's at least a threat of actual direct government
It is a
action.
threat. Yeah, I think it's an illegitimate threat. I don't think he's going to win that. But
Did anyone
we'll see,
under
I guess.
Biden make that type of threat?
I'm not aware. I don't know. I don't think so.
The answer is no, right? So when we compare the Trump administration to the Biden administration, and you say both of them did authoritarian crackdowns on speech, that's ridiculous.
I mean, you don't think so? Yeah, I mean, you're of the opinion that there was no collusion with big tech or big media.
I
Like-
don't like that the Biden administration reached out to Twitter behind the scenes. I would like these types of requests to be made public when they're made. But I'm not. That's not authoritarian crackdown on speech. It's like some form of misconduct, I would say. That's not really that consequential when you take into account that the government never actually used its power to compel action, and that a lot of these requests were denied. But that's not an authoritarian crackdown on speech.
I see it as an authoritarian crackdown on speech.
What is your
I see it as
definition of authoritarianism?
It's ideological crackdown, meaning like if you are to the right on
What is the
any number of
mechanism for
issues,
authoritarianism?
censorship, whether it's through media
what?
or public
Through
forums.
what? How do you
Public
you
forums.
enact a censorship?
What do you mean by
Government power?
By getting, yes, obviously, I agree with you that they did it through the private sector, so the government has no culpability here. I'm not in disagreement.
The government didn't even apply pressure on the private sector through actual levers of power like taxation or criminal charges.
Yes, that is the privilege of being ideologically aligned.
But Trump is doing that.
You're talking about the FCC thing, yeah,
And
I don't
the
think it's
Mahmoud
gonna,
Khalil thing.
and I don't think it's going to pan out for him. So what's like we can
So,
we-
okay,
like,
then can
disagree
we
with Trump on it.
say Trump is a
But to
right-wing
say-
authoritarian, but the courts might be able to stop him?
I could see that he has like some he goes a little too deep on the free speech shit, like when it comes to like burning the flag and stuff. Like
It's like just
It's
like I was going to go through. We already talked about corruption. Now we're talking about authoritarianism on free speech. Then I was going to go to like crackdowns with law enforcement, and it's like I can paint for you every single pillar in which Trump is massively and like in a very dangerous way expanding government power to pursue revenge and some sort of political agenda. And you're always going to have some sort of thing that Democrats did this one time that bothered me, or Trump was joking, or like, oh, the courts will
But
stop
Adam,
him.
hold on, because what you refuse to bring up, I don't know why, is the amount of left-wing political commentators that have openly called for violence, not to mention the actual violence that has been enacted on conservative figures, especially recently.
You know the
And it's
church
like,
shooting in Michigan from a couple days ago?
I'm not referencing that.
You know who
For
did
sure.
that one, right?
I don't know.
It was a Trump supporter. Isn't
Okay,
it interesting
I'm
how we don't hear about
they
that
said-
one on the media because it doesn't support the narrative
Look,
you're putting
they said-
forward? This is what I
they
mean
said
when
that
I say right-wing
every-
media is brainwashing people. You never hear the counterfactuals ever.
I do hear the counterfact. I did like actually. I've heard nothing but counterfactuals. I heard for a week and a half of how a Trump supporter shot Charlie and a Trump supporter shot somebody else over there, like whatever. But when I see the rhetoric from left-wing media and left-wing politicians and left-wing political commentators, it's a lot of the same. It's a lot
I
of the
just
same
want to be
shit.
clear that when Charlie Kirk was, let's say, pew pew, I don't want to get the live taken down. When Charlie Kirk's life was taken, Within 2 hours, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Zohran Mamdani, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, every single mainstream Democratic politician unequivocally and apolitically condemned what happened. Now, when Paul Pelosi was bludgeoned in the head with a hammer, what did Trump do? He made jokes about it at his rally. Charlie Kirk said, let's get the attacker out on bail and interview him. Charlie Kirk, by the way, also said that Joe Biden should be given the death penalty publicly. So, like, what the fuck are we talking about here when you say that the left politicians are calling for violence? When Trump just today gave a speech to top military generals where he foreshadowed declaring war on blue cities and blue states. It's like you are living in a different reality, which is not actually reality. It's delusion.
Like the Charlie comment or whatever, I have not seen that, but I'll
that's by design that you haven't seen that. This is why you think this way, is because these people, the right-wing media politicians, are manufacturing outrage and manufacturing a pretext so that when Trump starts sending the National Guard to seize voting machines and change election results, they can say, listen, we've been telling you guys for years, the left are radicals. They're trying to steal our country from us. They're trying to attack us. Look what they did to Charlie. Don't you think they would also steal an election if they can do that? Like, this is all pretext, and you never see the actual reality. All you see is the bits and pieces that work for the MAGA narrative, which, by the way, is right-wing authoritarianism. This is all fear-based scapegoating, and you are right now proving exactly what type of impact this has on average right-wing supporters. I hate the both sides stuff because it implies that both sides are equally bad. And while I have endless criticisms for Democrats, these are not the same things. We are dealing with a right-wing authoritarian movement in this country, which has a vested interest in cracking down on free expression and eroding, if not eliminating, democratic elections.
Yeah, I'm obviously disagree with everything that you just said.
There is an executive order drafted by the Trump administration, which lays out in harrowing detail that the Secretary of War is going to federalize the National Guard in a handful of swing states and then send the National Guard in to seize voting machines so his DNI, who would be Tulsi Gabbard in this case, can analyze and tell us what are the real election results.
To what elections?
This was drafted in December of 2020. And the only reason he didn't sign it back then is because the people in the administration back then were not loyalists. It wasn't the Pam Bondis and the Pete Hegseths and the bug-eyed Kash Patels. It was actual career civil servants who, even if they were right-wing, and I disagree with them, had a basic respect for our institutions and rule of law that Pam Bondi does not have, that Pete Hegseth does not have, that Donald Trump does not have. And you cannot seriously tell me that if in 2028 you have Gavin Newsom versus J.D. Vance and Gavin Newsom wins, that if Donald Trump tells Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth, I want you guys to declare that Iran and the radical left hacked our voting machines and then send in the National Guard to seize those voting machines. And then Tulsi, I want you to tell everyone that after your careful analysis, which is nothing, that actually J.D. Vance won. What prevents that from happening?
Well, I mean, you could say that, I don't know, I'm not going to get into whataboutism, I guess, but...
It's not a whataboutism. I'm reading through, I can read you the Trump executive. This is his administration that wrote this. You think they're just they're going to toss that in the trash now?
So you're saying that the theory is like they would take the voting machines and essentially just make up the results, like just decide.
They would say the voting machines have been hacked by the radical left or Iran, and then they would say this is a national security matter. So courts can't get involved because we have Article 2 authority over national security and foreign policy. This is a foreign attack in concert with domestic terrorists and Antifa that have hacked our voting machines, and therefore I'm authorizing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to federalize the National Guard to go in and seize these voting machines. All we want is transparency. You silly libs, don't you want transparency? Sure. All we're going to do is take these voting machines and analyze them and tell you the real results.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have a little bit more faith in our system than that. Like,
why? What prevents that? What prevents that, please?
Well, what prevents it on either side? Like, that's essentially what we saw with the Hunter Biden laptop story and the Russia hoax. Like that's effectively
you're short circuiting MAGA brain right now. Like Hunter Biden laptop, Burisma, Hillary Clinton's emails, like Hunter Biden's dick pics. Like,
yeah,
can you just address what I said?
I heard what you said. I'm saying, like, what would you suggest? Which, like, obviously, if he makes that's going to create like a massive.
I think it would spur a civil war in this country if that happens.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think that
there's a good chance that happens, which is why it's mind-numbing to me when I see people defending this man who is marching our country in the direction of civil war.
I just don't. Similar claims were made, like before on Trump, and I do see it as fear mongering. Like it doesn't seem like
Similar claims were made in his first term, and they were just as accurate. But when you talk about implementing authoritarianism, there are two aspects. One is the intent, and two is the means. In Trump's first term, the intent was all there, the means were not, because Mike Pence said no, and Bill Barr said no, and Trump's DOJ and DHS said no. This is not real. This is not true. What has been Trump's entire MO in his second term? Firing civil servants, replacing them with loyalists, and then putting loyalists at the head of all these agencies so that next time the means are there. He's built up the power. There's no one left to tell him no.
Dude, every politician brings in their cabinet. Like, what do you mean firing civil servants and putting?
We're literally on track to have the largest mass resignation of 100,000 civil servants. Not every politician. Which politician? Was it Barack Obama or Joe Biden or Bill Clinton who appointed someone with zero experience as a prosecutor to be the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia just to go after a political opponent? Someone who's never once before in their entire life prosecuted a case ever? Who I think was like an insurance lawyer before this? After firing someone before who was handpicked to prosecute James Comey, and just because they said, I can't find enough probable cause to write up an indictment that's actually going to win in court, Trump said, you're out of here. Pam Bondi, find someone else. They found someone who is not qualified at all to indict James Comey. Like, what is, how do you not see what's happening here? It's so insane to me.
Yeah, I do see I did look into a bit in the Comey case, and it does seem pretty weak. Like, I don't think anything's going to come out of it.
I think the judges are going to drop it, and at the very least, Comey's not going to be convicted, but we can't just ignore.
No, it's not ignoring. I saw the indictment. I think the case is weak, and I think it's a loser for Trump. Like, meaning, like, I don't think it's politically going to gain him any traction, and I think if anything, it's going to like cause a loss in support. So I don't really understand why he's going for that. But I can believe
the appointment of Lindsey Halligan as the U.S. attorney for Eastern Virginia.
I don't know. Like, look, I don't know who that person is. I know who Pam Bondi is, but I don't know who Lindsey Halligan is.
Well, I can tell you, she's never once in her entire life prosecuted a case.
Okay, yeah, maybe a poor pick. I don't know, but like again, this just seems to be like
just such an insane understatement. This is like politicization and weaponization in a way that's like really scary and disturbing. That it seems like you just are not willing to grapple with the stakes of what's happening.
Well, what do you mean grapple with the stakes? Like I guess I have more trust in our justice system. I don't think that if somebody is
literally are mass firing every single career civil servant in the DOJ and replacing them with Trump loyalists.
Every single career. Like who? Like what are you talking about? Every single career civil
servant? Every single person, even tangentially connected to any of the investigations of Trump under Biden, was either demoted or fired as soon as Trump came in. He went through and illegally fired inspectors general who are literally anti-corruption watchdogs that are supposed to prevent abuses of power. He went through and illegally fired dozens of them in like every single executive branch agency. It is so clear what's happening here, which is that in Trump's first term, the authoritarian intent was still there, but there are checks and balances, like you're saying, that exist within the executive branch. And the entire MO of his second term is eliminating those intra-executive checks and balances by appointing loyalists to executive branch positions of leadership and then replacing career civil servants with loyalists, where you literally now have ICE agents that were golden pins of Trump's face.
ICE agents?
Connect the dots here, dude.
I don't know, man. Like I don't see the. I guess like when you're talking about firing of DOJ individuals or other executive branch individuals, like I
not just firing.
Maybe
it's one thing if you fire them and whose only qualification is I support Trump. And so those are supposed to be the checks and balances.
I don't understand. So do you want Trump to like put position there? Like I don't understand like what you want him to do.
I'm sure that there are highly qualified prosecutors who are right-leaning. Lindsey Halligan has never prosecuted a case in her entire life. She is now, again, the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. Like, we have come so far as a fucking country that alone is not impeachable and, like, fucking insane. After Trump tweeted publicly, hey, at Pam Bondi, why aren't you prosecuting Shifty Adam Schiff and James Comey? This is a bad look for me. Please get on it ASAP. Next week, Lindsey Halligan is made the U.S. attorney and James Comey is indicted. And this is just, there's always some excuse or some reason why it's not actually a big deal.
I mean, in the Comey case, like, yeah, it might not be a big deal if he actually lied under oath. Like, it wouldn't be a big deal. Like, would you agree with that? Like, if he actually lied?
If he actually lied, then why did the initial prosecutor say there's no winnable case here? Like, and someone who's handpicked by Trump to do this, even that person was like, listen, I literally tried, I investigated, I looked, and there's no real winnable case here. We'd have to be grasping at straws. And the federal government, typically, the reason the DOJ and the federal government has such a high rate of convictions is they don't pursue cases that they are not basically 100% sure they're going to win. That rate of convictions, I promise you, over the next 3 years is about to plummet because they're grasping at straws just to indict people and even if Comey is vindicated and the case is dropped, or he's not found guilty, how much money has he now been forced to spend on legal defense and PR? And how much has Trump had a chilling effect on other people that, hey, we're going to indict you. We might not convict you, but we're going to make your life hell for at least a year.
Yeah, but does it not seem a bit conspiratorial to say that like this Lindsay woman was just put there to essentially go after Comey?
It's not conspiratorial because Donald Trump last weekend, or I think the weekend before last weekend, tweeted on Truth Social, hey, Pam Bondi, can you please prosecute James Comey and Adam Schiff? A lot of my supporters are saying that we're all talk, no action. And I want to show them I mean business. Please attend to this ASAP. A few days later, Eric Siebert is removed. Lindsay Halligan's put in. And what do you know? James Comey just happens to be indicted. And we're supposed to... Actually, the conspiracy would be saying that this wasn't politically orchestrated. That's the conspiracy. Because Trump just tells us. This is the thing, is like all these defenses of Trump, there's one little issue, which is that Trump doesn't agree with you. This man, for the last 2 weeks, has just been openly saying blatantly authoritarian things. Like those people that protested him at the restaurant, all they did was stand there with a Palestinian flag and say, free Palestine, Trump is the Hitler of our time. You might not like that, but it's free speech. They didn't touch anyone. They didn't hurt anyone. The next day, Trump does a press conference and says, hey, I told Pam Bondi, I want to look into those people with criminal RICO charges. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Okay. I don't like, that seems like a pretty out there case, I guess, but
It's just, you're so chill about authoritarianism, but then you have all this energy for the neo-Marxist Mamdani. And it's just like, where do your, what is this strange, like, lack of emphasis and lack of care on, like, the complete destruction of, when I say Donald Trump is destroying America, I mean that very literally. And it seems like the most to say is like, that's a pretty wacky case, I guess.
well, I just think that like a lot of the things that you're pulling is pretty overblown. Like honestly, like I'm trying to see your perspective, like sincerely, but I don't
think
see
you
it. No, I promise you I am. Like I'm trying to sit here and
When
listen, and I have tried
three
to
like
look up.
college girls stand in this seafood steak restaurant and they hold up a Palestinian flag and they say, free Palestine, Trump's the Hitler of our time. And then they leave. They don't touch anyone, they don't hurt anyone. And then a day later, Trump gives a press conference and says, with Pam Bondi standing behind them, those were paid agitators. I've instructed the Attorney General to look into pursuing criminal RICO charges because they should be in jail.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna end up in jail, but like that just seems like a pretty crazy situation altogether, to be
You're
honest.
saying, oh, I think that the judicial branch will hold against what? The authoritarianism of Trump?
Wait, so what? So in this theoretical example, what would they go to jail for?
They would go to jail for being domestic extremists. And for RICO charges, he would say that they're part of an organized like leftist indoctrination conspiracy, which, by the way, he's already released 2 or 3 executive orders on this, where he specifically says that like left-wing NGOs and activists can now be investigated by the DOJ and by like domestic security apparatus as being part of like terrorist networks. And he specifically says you don't have to be involved in violence. It could be like ideological support given to violence, which what the fuck does that even mean?
Ideological support to violence?
Sounds pretty stupid and flimsy, right?
Yeah, like again, a lot of the free speech stuff is pretty flimsy. Like I for example, when Pam Bondi said the hate speech comment, like that was like, I saw. I'm glad that she got a bunch of kind of flack for it. Like she got like a lot of people.
But they're still marching forward with a lot of that stuff.
Are they?
Trump's executive order came after that.
Why did she? Why did she walk it back?
Came after that.
But then why did she walk back her comments?
Because they realized they can't say all this stuff out loud. Some of it they have to do quietly.
Okay.
Hooray!
Yeah,
They're going to hide the authoritarianism. The country is saved.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like on the authoritarian piece, like I just think we just have.
I've just given you mountains of evidence, and you're like, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. That's been the extent of your pushback.
I just think that it's, yeah, I don't know. This stuff gets partisan, and I just disagree. Like I disagree. Like I'll look into more of the Lindsay thing, and I appreciate you sharing that stuff with me because I don't hear many people talk about that.
Thanks for hopping on.